Good morning, friends. Welcome back again. I am extremely privileged to welcome Gayatri Chara as an educator, with 14 plus years of experience, in this Pharmacircuit forum. Thank you, Gayatri, for being there today. Gayatri has been a teacher she with special also a special needs educator counselor, and she has actually trained many students with her knowledge with about emotional intelligence. She has been a spiritual life coach, certified reiki and crystal reiki master. She is quite passionate about mental health, and she believes in inclusive society for us all, irrespective of the gender, financial backgrounds, or educational qualifications. She is working towards promoting preventive strategies for mental well being in organizations and help them design mental well being protocols and policies. Being in emotional intelligence as well as being a spiritual coach, she works on integrating the aspects of human mind and spirituality in creating tools and techniques to deal with the barriers to mental health. Gayatri loves to interact with people and to conduct research on the behaviors and patterns in personalities, comparing the physiological and metaphysical relations. Now, coming back to Pharma Circuit, we are thrilled to have her here because today she will speak about stress management for entrepreneurs. Now, in this world, in last 1 year, we have seen millions of entrepreneurs, coming up, and everybody obviously will have some stress. So, how to cope up with that stress? Gayatri will speak about it. So, without any further ado, I welcome Gayatri to this Pharma Circuit conference, and the stage is all yours, Gayatri.
Thank
Please.
you so much for that lovely introduction, and thank you so much for having me here today. I'm Gayatri Chadwa, COO at GMHA and co founder and director for GMH Foundation. Stress is a word that we hear so much these days. Everywhere, every person you ask, how is the work going? I'm sure 90% of the people, oh, it's so stressful. The week has been stressful. The workload has been crazy, are the terms that we hear so much from everyone around us. And does it really need to be that way? I mean, we do the work because we love doing it. So why not make sure that whatever we are doing can be stress free, or we can actually make it happen in a way that the stress is not there, but the fun element of the work that we do is there. So I would like to interact with all of you regarding stress management and being entrepreneurs or being even in workplaces. It is important for us to be stress free, to enjoy and have fun so that we can give maximum to our organizations. So, coming to what is stress? So, stress is basically the reaction people have to excessive pressures or other types of demand placed upon them. Today, COVID has taught us that, has shown us that the society can go from one to another in like a blink of an eye, where we were so used to going the 9 to 5 jobs and having our workplace separate and the home environment separate. It was all thrown onto us that we have to do work from home. Almost everything was shut down, and that was a pressure, and this pressure did build up in a lot of places. So basically stress is a reaction to pressures. It is also the wear and tear of our minds and bodies that we experience when in a continuous changing environments. So stress basically occurs when the pressure is greater than the resource. So my mantra usually is make sure that you put pressure on yourself only such that your resources can take care of it. So there are different types of stress. Not necessarily entire stress is different. Today we have, unfortunately, when we talk about stress, uh, everybody takes in it as a negative way, but it's not necessarily negative. Stress is positive too, and that is the use stress. This is the type of stress I feel where it makes you work better, it makes you work harder, it makes you work to achieve your goals, or set your targets in a way that you enjoy doing the work, and then you are free from it. Whereas the major stress, the distress or the negative stress, is what most of the people that I have interacted with are facing in different levels. Now, this can be acute stress where you have episodes, or it can become a chronic stress, which is a toxic stress. And that is one thing that we all have to avoid at all cases. Now, episodic stress is something like, there could be a period where, especially as you see now COVID, you all being from the pharma industry and being into this particular uh, field, you have seen a lot of the market requirement was that everybody was on their feet for medications, for vaccinations. There is a huge amount of demand in the market, and when that demand goes up, that is when your pressures increase, and that is when the stress increases. So it can be a positive, but if it can be an episodic where, for this particular point in time where you are not able to sleep well, or you have a lot of workload, for that particular episode you are stressed. But once that episode goes away, it is okay. You are back to being yourself. But there is chronic stress. And unfortunately, I would say almost 60% of the population has chronic stress, starting from education, like, schools, colleges, universities, to workplace. And that is a very heart wrenching truth that 60% of the people have chronic stress, that is a toxic stress today. So I'll come to talking about the levels of stress. There is positive level, whereas there is a brief increase in heart rate, mild elevation in stress hormones, and it is something that is, positive. It can also be a eustress, which can actually help you get the work done. The next is tolerable, whereas it is serious, but it is temporary. And if you have good relationships with people around you, or if you are, communicating well, so you have a proper support system of your peers and families, this can actually be taken care of, controlled, and regularized. The last and the final level is a toxic stress, which is actually the prolonged activation, and the stress response does not go away. And this, in this particular case, what happens is, this happens especially when you are interested, you just do not communicate well, you do not have your support system around you, or you just work and work. So these are some basics of stress levels from a psychological aspect. I will come now to the specific here. That is because we are talking about entrepreneurs and workplace. There is something called as job stress. Now, job stress is the physical and emotional responses that occur when the requirements of the job do not match the capabilities, resources, or needs of the worker. So, this is where it is very harmful, and that is what is required when we have to make sure that our capabilities are taken care of. This may lead to poor health, and it is often confused with challenge. A lot of people say, "Oh, my job is challenging, and that is why I'm stressed." A challenge is not equal to stress. A challenge is something that energizes you. A challenge is something that brings out the excitement in you. A challenge is something that, you are motivated to do better. So if you take up a challenge, you have to feel those positive emotions. Challenge brings out positivity. If you're like, so whereas stress is something which brings out exactly the opposite of challenge. And when you have met your challenges and you have, overcome your challenges, you feel relaxed and satisfied. Whereas in stress, there is job demands that is cannot be met, relaxation is turned to exhaustion, and sense of satisfaction is turned into feelings of stress. So you have to be very careful that, what exactly a situation, learn to analyze whether the situation that you're facing is a challenging situation, or is it a stressful situation. Does it bring out positivity, or does it bring out negativity within you? So some of the stressors that we have are external stressors, which are organizational, or these could be life events. Now, organizational stressors could be the design of tasks. A particular example that I can think of the mind is I had a client few months back who had come to me saying that they were extremely stressed, and it was impossible for them to concentrate on the work. The reason I asked is what is the type of work that they do. So this person was basically given the task of marketing certain things and creating the creatives for all of it. Fun activity, right? But what happens is uh, that person was from not from a marketing background. So what to do in that particular case is change. That design of task was difficult, and that is where it happened that the external stress came in. Heavy workload. If you are working on heavy workloads, it becomes difficult. Infrequent rest breaks. If you're not taking the breaks, then it becomes difficult. Then you have long working hours, and shift work are stressful. So if you do not take these breaks and there are long working hours and shifts are there, then it can be a stressful situation. So it is important that you work and do it accordingly. Hectic and routine tasks that have little inherent meaning. That means your capabilities are not utilized to your potential. Management style depends upon the management of what it is. If the management is not correct, if there is no communication between the higher strata and the lower ones, it can lead to stressors. Lack of participation by workers in decision making, poor communication in the organization, lack of family friendly policies, interpersonal relationship between the company, and poor social and environmental support or lack of support from co-workers. So these are something external stressors. Life events such as change in financial status, change of job or work, mortgage or loan, change in responsibilities, moving house, death of loved ones, divorce, injury or illness, or even lack of jobs. These are certain life events can cause stress. There are certain internal stresses, and I personally believe that more than external stressors, internal stressors are the ones that cause a lot of stress. The first one is self doubt. Negative self talk, perfectionism, anger, fear of change, unrealistic expectations from ourselves, lifestyle choices like the diet, sleep patterns, pleaser personality is all that we have, and that is what works on with us. Comparison of selves to others. We have this habit of being comparison to do it. Over control or lack of control. So we are either too much in control or we are lacking control. And assumptions or misperceptions. This is something that are stressors. So coming to how do we manage stress? I say use the ABC strategy. Now, what is ABC strategy? A is awareness. What causes you stress? What do you do about it? And where does this stress come from? So, what causes you stress? So, this is something that you can answer for yourself, and it cannot be something that is same for everyone. So, this is awareness. You need to ask these questions. A very beautiful example of creating awareness is monitoring yourself on how and when you are facing issues, or you feel stressed. What are your triggers? Understand your triggers, understand your causing, what are the causing factors, or what are your feelings or emotions that cause you stress. So one of the major things I feel is to understand of the things that you can't control. So this is a basic outline of things you can control and things you cannot control. So anything that is related to you, you can control. But anything related to others, you cannot control. So that is the things that you can control and you cannot control. Yeah. So this is a, I'll just keep it for a couple of seconds. So these are the things that you can control and other things that you cannot control. So I personally feel that you can control your reaction or your response to particular thing, but you cannot control what others are doing. In a particular situation, if you are a perfectionist, you might be doing things in a perfect way. You would want people to have things in a perfect way. But the person in front of you might not be a perfectionist. And expecting them to do as per your levels without actually communicating what your expectations are becomes an issue, and then it causes a drift between the two people interacting, thus leading to a high level of stress amongst everyone. Another thing is your beliefs and how you treat yourself. It could be that somebody else is, you might have a huge confidence in your work and your work that you do, but not necessarily everybody else has that. Somebody in front of you might be facing issues with confidence because of whatever happened in their past. So it is important that we be empathetic to them and understand that it's not in your control as to what you do. So that is very important. Now, coming back to things you can't control is how you respond. So if somebody has any issues, you can respond in a way that you feel correct without having the expectations of how that person should be. And that is one thing that we have to be very careful about. The second, the B of stress, is balance. So there is a very fine line between positive and negative stress. And how do you cope up? And how much do you put in? And how much can you take before you break? So that is very important for us to have that particular balance between the positive and negative stress. So, what can you do to maintain the stress or take care of stress? How do you maintain a balance? If you're feeling stressed, call up a friend. Tell someone that you love them. Tell someone that you know, you're celebrating your work. Go outside. Wear something comfortable. Have us walk around the office. Have something that, you can do about it. Or, that's something that reduces that stress about you. So look at a pretty art. If you are somebody who loves doing art, do that art for you. And that is where you can go outside, do these things on a stressful day. So as to not break that fine line between the good stress and the bad stress. And the last C of stress management is controlling. How do you control your emotions? How do you work with and control your emotions? How do you work around and take care of your emotions? What are the measures that you can take to keep the stress at bay? This is one thing that I really love doing. That is the 5 4 3 2 1 activity. That is a grounding technique. First, five, acknowledge five things you see. And acknowledging means actually seeing at them, looking at them, admiring them. Then acknowledge four things that you can touch. Close your eyes and acknowledge these four things. Then do not use your sense of eye, seeing and touch, but hear three things. Then two things that you smell, and then the one thing that you can taste. This is one thing, that 5 4 3 2 1 activity that works well for everybody. Another things about how you can calm yourself is have a glass of water, take a walk in the nature, take 5 deep breaths, listen to your favorite music, meditate are another ways in which you can calm yourself and take back the control. Now, how do you have overcoming stress? So pay attention to your body signals. Set smart goals. Communication is the key. So a lot of times we ignore the body signals. Sorry, we ignore what our bodies are trying to tell us. We ignore that what is it happening to our body. We get a lot of things where uh, we feel tired, we feel sleepy, we feel fatigued, but we say, no, I'm going to work through it. So it's better listen to these body signals before they become chronic. Smart goals. Set goals so that you are achievable to you. They are, something that you can work with. Communicate what you want, communicate your needs. If I tell you that, draw a horizontal line and draw two vertical lines, some might draw the horizontal line at the top of the page, some might draw in the middle, some might draw at the bottom of the page. Vertical lines could be anywhere around the, horizontal line, or it can be anywhere on the page. Communicate. Draw the horizontal line in the center of the page. Draw two vertical lines on the side. Communicate, and that is how you can actually help overcome these stress levels. Develop a support network. Talk to someone. Ask for help. Delegate work. This is one thing that we all struggle in. We are unable to do that. We are unable to ask for help because we have this in our mind that asking for help makes us weak. No, it doesn't. Ask for help. Asking for help makes you understand that in the end, if you get the help, there is somebody who can look after you or look after your work. A very important point, keep perfectionism in check. It's okay if it's not perfect all the time. It's okay if it's not 100% all the time. It's perfectly all right to not be perfect. It's okay if there is a slight mistake at times. You don't have to be hard on yourself every single time. It's completely okay not to be okay sometimes. Please plan your breaks throughout your workday. If you know that you're going to work for 10 hours today, make sure that you plan your breaks so that it does not take a toll on your body. Adopt a healthy lifestyle. You can go exercising, modify your diet plans, or just make sure that whatever physical activity you love, do that. It's not necessarily you have to hit the gym twice a day for 3 hours. You can just take a walk or go for a run, go out with your family, and enjoy activity or dancing together. That is also something that will reduce your stress. Achieve the work life balance. A lot of people in trying to get the perfectionism at work forget to be at home and forget about themselves. So try to achieve that work life balance. Yes, work is important, but work can happen only if you are perfect or you are in perfect health. So that is very important to achieve. Learn to say no. Saying no does not make you rude. Saying no does not make you selfish. Saying no does not make you look bad. It's okay to say no. It's okay to be perfectly fine with not doing certain things. If you feel that it is going to stress you much, say no. Another very important thing is affirmations. Affirmations do work wonders because they change the perspective of which you see the world. Maintain a journal. Write down your thoughts, write down your experiences, write down what your feelings, write down your emotions, and be grateful for whatever you have achieved so far. I would personally say that even if you have taken one step forward, that is the most important step. So if you are a step, even a half a step ahead from what you were yesterday, be grateful and celebrate that step. You don't have to go to the top of the ladder in one day to make sure and celebrate the smaller things that you achieve. Celebrate where you are today, celebrate what you are today, celebrate who you are today, and be grateful for whatever your achievements are. None of the achievements are small, not all are big. Every achievement is equal, so celebrate it. And last but not the least, remember your why. Why do you do this work? Enjoy the work that you do instead of doing it to please the societal norms or to fit in. So please remember, why are you doing this? Why did you start the entrepreneur journey? Why did you decide to do this or do this particular work? Because it can give you the confidence, it can give you the contentment, and it can give you the peace at the end of the day. So if we are working for that, try to get that into your life. This is one activity again. As a takeaway, I would like to give it all to you. Acknowledge your stress. First and foremost, you need to acknowledge that you're stressed. Second, create a space between you and the feeling. Know that you are not the feeling. Ask yourself, what is this stress trying to tell me? What function does it serve? Is it trying to tell you that you need to take a break? Is it trying to tell you that you have to work in a different manner? You have to change your strategy? Or what is this stress trying to tell you? And understand that it is how you are feeling, not who you are. I am feeling happy. I am feeling stressed. Whenever asked a question about how you are, we all say, I am happy. Yes, you are happy, but that is a feeling. So that feeling doesn't become you. So you are different from your feeling. So keep that stress away, keep that gap between yourself and your feeling. I am feeling stressful. I am feeling overwhelmed. When you divide this thing, the feeling and you, it becomes two different entities, and that is how you can actually create the agility, emotional agility and resilience within you. And with that, I come to the end of my presentation, and I hope you can take up some of these tips and work on the stress levels for yourself. A little bit about GMHA, I would like to add in that we do have certain training programs and wellness programs for the employees, for entrepreneurs, for anybody who's interested. And we have all our programs. These are accredited by International Association of Therapists. And this is my email ID. I will put it into chat also. We do conduct employee wellness programs as well. So you can anytime get in touch with me for any tips or any help required. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much, Gayatri. It's a great pleasure for and learning experience, first of all, for myself and all my fellow members around the globe to hear you today. And I think it was a great thing to understand from you that whatever we are feeling, it's not the reality. So I
True.
think what you told today is pretty much to think in future, like be happy in future, because today if we are happy is not enough. And uh, I have a few questions from the audience.
Sure.
So first one came from Moa. She is asking how to beat anxiety and stress as an entrepreneur specifically, because entrepreneurs, uh, will not have even time to do all this exercise. So what is your special tip for entrepreneurs? Apart from the presentation, yeah, go ahead.
That's a very good question, Kuntal. So, personally, I would say, I, being an entrepreneur myself, I know what you're saying, that you do not get the time to even, do these activities. Life just goes from one thing to another. But we have to consciously, keep ourselves as a priority. As I said, why are we doing this? Today, I started I'm a CEO with a company, or I'm co-founder, director of a company, but I am doing it because it gives me happiness. I want to achieve my dreams because it will give me peace. But if I am only not balanced, and if I am only anxious and stressful at the time, how is my organization going to grow? How can I help my organization grow if I am not balanced? So make yourself a priority. And the moment you make yourself a priority, I think everything falls into place. And that is where, it is important that we have to make ourselves the priority. Keep you as the focal point, and then let everything revolve, the work that you do revolve around it. What we do is we keep everything else in the center and we revolve
We
around it.
revolve. Okay.
And we keep on running, but we are running in circles. We are not getting anything, we are not picking anything. This is the center, we are just running like, headless chicken, I like to call it. But if you are in the center and everything around you, you can pick and choose. Okay, I this is important, I do this right now. This is important, do this right now. And secondly, multitaskers are, we say, what a beautiful thing that this person can do so much at so many times. But I think somewhere we need to, stop ourselves. How many tasks to do at the same time? If we put into it, yes, every one of us can do 10 tasks at the same time. But is it really, are you really giving your 100% to all the 10 tasks? Instead, pick and choose, put your priority. You can go step by step. Your organization, put in realistic expectations. You cannot expect your entrepreneurship, startup can go from point A to point B. Like, you cannot take a long jump. Put it step by step, define those steps, and put them time bound, realistic steps. If you're working alone and you say, I'll be working 20 hours a day and get my company from position A to position B, it's not realistic. And last but not the least, I would like to say for entrepreneurs is I have to say that we as entrepreneurs have the fear of letting go of the control, because it's our baby. Our organization is our baby. And we feel, okay, the trust. How do I trust somebody else with my baby? It comes naturally. But we have to develop that network so that we can delegate the work and choose, pick and choose what gives you happiness, do that. Wherever you're needed, be there. But delegate the work. I think a lot of stress and anxiety will be reduced in that particular case.
Wonderful insights, Gayatri. And one of the last questions. This came from Mario. So this is again a culmination of all the points of what you presented. He's telling that in general, I think you have answered that in a way that why do you think that entrepreneurs are more or less stressed? Because usually you see the paradox. Entrepreneurs start something on their own because they are too much. They think that let me do something on our own because we want to have full control. We don't want this 9 to 5 job, and let me do it something and have full control. But in the end they end up in this stress loop. And is it also related to personality type? So that was the question from Mario. So
Yes, so personality types, yes, it is to some extent dependent on personality types, but I won't say that 100%, because when a person goes from one situation to another, a person, the personality may also change, right? And secondly, it's unfortunate that today we there are no open discussions about mental and emotional well-being, even in a workplace. So if somebody is facing an issue, even no matter how much the person is an extrovert or an introvert, or the life of a party, it can stress, anxiety can affect anybody. It can hit you at a point where you don't definitely are not prepared for it. And so I personally feel that it can affect anyone, anytime, no matter what personality you are, no matter how you feel that you're prepared. Even if you're highly emotionally intelligent, you still feel the sadness. The only difference between people with personality is, like, the way you handle stress and the way you handle your emotions is what matters. And I think that is where emotional intelligence come into picture, where you are in sync with yourself, yourself. So I would just say here, like, be one with yourself, understand yourself better, because there will be hundreds of people out there telling you what to do and what not to do. But you yourself can only understand who you are, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and how can you work the best. So if you keep that in mind and you understand your emotions, if you're self aware and self motivated, if your motivation comes from within and you are aware, okay, I'll just give you an example. And I love to give this example a lot, that, there is one person where I had interacted with them almost 15, 20 years back. But that one person was somewhere I did not like that person at all. There were certain, what you can say, certain things happened that it just put in anger in my mind. Today, that person is very happy. That person is very nice to me. Everything is sorted. But that person or anybody who resembles that person's personality, if they come in front of me, my anger just comes out. So it's like, if you realize that this person, so it's not the person, might not be necessarily the person in front of you or what is happening right now is giving you stress. It is your past experiences also, most of the times, that bring about that stressful feeling. So if you're very in sync with this, then I think we can beat this anxiety or stress or depression that comes along with it. So personality, yes, on it depends on personality, but if you're well versed with yourself, I don't think it should matter much. I hope that answers.
No, wonderful, wonderful. No, I think there are key takeaways. I am also grateful to you for this, and I wish to really put it on record that we are doing a lot of mentorship programs, and I'll be definitely trying to have your advice and of course your institution to see where we can connect, and I can actually really understand now basically that unfortunately we all are part of this loop. So as you said rightly, we are just circling around. So this is a very good takeaway. And apart from this personality type, that it is more from the past than the future. So lot of good things today, and it's a great experience to have you on board. We would definitely be on touch, be in touch, uh,
Definitely.
and what I would recommend that if you can share also your on the LinkedIn post, if you can share your
Sure.
company. It would be not be advisable to share email on LinkedIn, but at least the company stuff on our post, and we will
Sure.
also then circulate and see how much maximum reach can be made available. Today we have
Definitely.
over hundreds inscriptions for this conference, so we hope that it will reach to wider population, and we will also post this video to YouTube in our channel so that people can also get benefit out of it.
Thank you so much, Kuntal. Definitely, I will share all the details. I can share my email ID. I can share my official email ID also on LinkedIn. No
Wonderful,
worries at all.
wonderful. Yeah.
And we are there here to help you out in any way possible. We do have our own programs for trainings, employee well-being. We do develop programs for organizations
Okay.
depending upon the requirement. And the best part about us is it's not just the life coaches with us, but we have actual psychologists on board. So all
Okay.
our programs are taken by psychologists. The reason why GMHA or our foundation believes in that is going to a psychologist is still considered a taboo in the situation. So we believe that we are getting the psychologist to you. So at least now you can freely interact with them. So all our trainings are taken up by a trained, certified psychologist, and we are available to develop anything customized, or it is as per the requirements. We have courses for individual trainings, individuals who want to join us. We have all of these. We also have master classes, which is if you cannot give an entire certification program, we do have 3 hour, 4 hour master classes also that we do conduct. So everybody is welcome to get in touch for any further help and requirement.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much,
Sure.
Kuntal, for
Thank you. Thanks a
thank
lot.
you.
We will be in touch. Thanks a lot.
Definitely.
So,
Thank you.
for the viewers, we will have now around 45 minutes of networking break. We are back sharply at 12, noon German time. That will be around 3:30 Indian time. So, see you soon again. Thank you, Gayatri. Thanks all.